What's going on, guys? Back with another one. Today, kind of wanted to go through and talk to the new riders, basically. Well, I guess you can talk to other people too that do ride in their season. But the key word is humility. First and foremost, this is back when I was in Kaale. These are my old stomping grounds. I used to go through Lake Berryessa, if you're familiar with that. It's an awesome road that goes all the way through. It's two lakes that connect. Yeah, it's amazing. It's an intimate road, as you can see. There's, it gets tight, and when you get inside of there, I call it the doorway, into the mountain, basically, like it's Lord of the Rings or something. But it can be treacherous because people, there's lakes out there, and they bring boats, and there's blind corners, and again, they're tight. So if you're not on your P's and Q's, you can get took out by a trailer. Sometimes people be hauling ass, and you got trucks going through. But the key word, humility. There's often times where I hear new riders say it. And I've been guilty of this too. When you move up from a bike that you think is of lesser value, you then forget to keep the humility that you had when you first got it. You were first scared about it. You weren't thinking about, just hitting the gas as hard as you can. You were actually trying to learn about it. You had respect for the bike. But once you get out of that 250, 400 cc, and you move up to 600 or 1,000. I don't know what it is, but people just say, screw it. Like, I'm the best, and I do this and that. And that could be a danger. You can end up, making the wrong move and not being able to recover, basically. So, some of the things I've learned over the years through experience, you want to have fun. That's the most important thing. But when you're on these roads, you need to be surveying where you're going first and foremost. And that means your environment from the street, what the grounds look like. The people that are behind you, whether that's in a car or a bike, because both of those are hazards. And as I'm going through this road right now, it'll start really tighten up after. This is where I call the doorway basically, where it peaks in. But as soon as you start actually getting into the mountains, there's a lot of switchbacks and tight turn sections, sweeps, and a lot of elevation changes going up and down. And people use this road as a racetrack, for a motorcyclist. And then not only that, you got people hauling in cars and whatnot. So they, checking the scene of where your experience is for the day. That's critical. I still do that today. I don't go anywhere where I'm not paying attention to everything. Secondly, I don't think enough riders, besides like the OGs, I will say I like riding with a lot of OGs that are older than me now, because they get it. Yes, we're out here to have fun. We're out here to go do things. But at the same time, they get that other people are trying to enjoy their lives too. So for you to not respect that, and you're creating hazardous situations by, either being out of your control, and how you handle your motorcycle, and being riding above your skill level, that could, definitely mess things up. And for not only you, but you're going to get somebody else involved they weren't even trying to be involved at all. They were just enjoying their day. And if you really think about it, that's an asshole move. Yeah, so another thing I think that riders should do, especially if you're new, you should, start learning your bike. Like, really, learn it. Learn, the movement that it creates. Learn what it doesn't like. You got to get real intimate with, how it responds to you. I think that's one key to make you a better rider. That kind of goes in the wind. I think some people just get on and they just claim they ride on anything. And, that's far from the truth, because I believe that, you know, all motorcycles ride differently. You know, there's not one that's exactly the same like another one, and they perform, and then, you know, they end up telling the truth one way or another. But I definitely think you should, you know, just learn the basics, learn about everything you can. You know, on my 14 that I'm on right now, I'm still learning. You know, and I got that back in 2013, I believe. So there's never any, you know, there's never not an opportunity to gain more knowledge on what you're writing. Another thing is when you're going and you're starting to ride your own pace, you know, don't let anybody bully you. That's cars or bikers. I'm not a fan of people that try and push other people into doing more than they're ready for. You know, so usually, you know, I'll be on roads and stuff, and even still to this day, if somebody gets behind me and they're on my ass, I will slow down and move out the way and tell them to go ahead of me, or, you know, or make some other adjustment. But I'm not gonna let you just be riding my ass just to do it, especially if I'm doing the speed limit or above that. You know, I don't play games like that. So you got to just lay down the law. I like this carousel going up. One of my weaknesses is going downhill, but that's on this specific bike because it's so heavy. You feel the inertia when you're going down. And I don't know if the camera can really pick it up, but going uphill, it's a pretty good steep incline, and it's on the carousel there. You know, and I like going uphill, but learning how to go downhill correctly and trust on bigger bikes that way, yeah, that still bothers me to this day. So again, you know, like I'm saying, we all have things that we can learn. But yeah, back to, you know, not being bullied on. You know, just make sure that you're set in your own ways, and you're trying to ride, you know, for you, not for anybody else. Your main goal is to have fun, to learn, you know, and make it back home. So, you know, I thought this was a pretty cool lens. I accidentally forgot to switch my mode on my GoPro, and it came out like this, but I actually thought that was pretty cool, so I left it. But this is that's Lake Berryessa on the right, down the way, and passing through there. Again, with the environments and stuff like that, this particular road has a lot of different environmental changes. There's some sections where there's a lot of trees, and it'll be, you know, sunny just like this, like it looks, and then you'll go through some major trees and it's damp, like all the way through, like you're riding through a tunnel. So then you got wet conditions on the road that can make you, you know, put you in a slick situation. Then on certain sections, like what I'm going through now, there's sand, and then there's a rock that continues to fall off the side of the you know, the mountains further down the passes and stuff. So you have to watch out for rocks and things like that. So there's a lot of conditions, and that's not saying that deer don't pop out on you every once in a while, which I've had that happen a few times and got lucky. I would say that I find that more bikers riding out of their limit. Yeah, you'll be surprised, but you'll actually sit up sometimes because you're trying to avoid hitting them because they're in your lane. But they'll tell you that you know, they're Valentino Rossi, which is BS. But you know, particularly on this road, you know, you have to watch out for things like that. Again, I'm going up, you know, a steep incline again. I don't know if the camera picks it up that well, but there's a ton of elevation changes that go through here, and it's really cool. But what's some other things? Stay on top of your maintenance. I would say, you know, the best that you can. It is a pain in the ass to have to go to mechanics and go to dealerships because they really do rip you off. Not all of them, but that's a small percentage that actually really try and help bikers without, you know, killing their wallet. But learn, that's another part of learning your bike. Besides riding it, you can also learn about it from its guts, its parts. What's in it, what makes it move, what makes it do certain things, what can I add to it to, enhance it. I do that to all my bikes, and it's a pain in the ass, but it's also a rewarding feeling when you get things going and everything clicks and meshes together. It's a really cool feeling. I'm passing up the glory hole, if anybody's familiar with that. And it's a lookout. I love blowing by the mountainside right there, because your exhaust will actually reverberate like hardcore off there. And if you got an exhaust system that's set up properly, yeah, you are you're gonna turn a few heads. But this is also a section. Actually, this is when I was coming back, I believe. But this is that downhill carousel that I was talking about, and me going downhill. And you can look at my speedometer, and you can see how slow I was coming in. I know some people just float down there and turn, but again, this bike is, roughly, 550 pounds maybe. And when you're down, you feel all that. I don't know. That's another part of skills that I have to learn. But it's amazing going through there. What's some other things? To each their own, but I've been down before, and I know it's uncomfortable to wear gear sometimes, but I would say that it's also a great feeling to know that you have it on. Because when you go down, just think cheese grater. So if you got shorts on and a t-shirt, or you're a girl and you wearing a sports bra and shorts or skin tight, just think cheese grater, because your skin's gonna come off. When I went down, I flew through an intersection. Luckily, it wasn't as bad as it seemed, but I flew probably like 20, 30 feet or so, and when I came to, my bike actually was still on twos, and it rolled into me and dragged me for about another 15, 20 feet, and then fell over on me. In doing so, I had just regular designer jeans on. I ended up getting, cheese grated basically, and my right shin basically took all the skin off for the most part, and yeah, that was pretty painful. So I would advise, wearing some type of real protection. I see people, and to each their own, but I see people, they ride with those little chest protectors, or they put just the little arm pads on, and I'm like, if you go down hard enough, none of that shit's gonna matter. You're gonna feel it another way. So if you just get a mesh jacket. If you don't want to wear leather because it's too heavy, get a mesh jacket. But if you're wearing the proper gear, you have a greater chance of getting up without having any serious bodily harm to you. The thing is, we always say you prepare for the slide, and a lot of people just bypass that. Same thing with speed. Ride within your own limits. If you can't see around the bend and you don't know how to control that, then why the hell would you be going at a certain speed that you're not going to be able to correct, once you get there. This particular road that I'm on, there are several people that die yearly. On the weekends, there will be highway patrol that sits up there, and they'll let you kind of race or do whatever you're doing, but they're there to kind of put a reminder into you to slow down. That's how serious it's been, while I was living there. I don't know what it is, but if you have a real need for speed, I know it's expensive, but I would say go to the track. At least those are controlled conditions. From your environment to the road, the weather, they check everything. There's no traffic, there's none of that. But when you're out on a public road, you gotta think about that. Everything is public, and some people really don't take that into account. The last thing I would say, you only have one body. So, it breaks. It's not made of Kevlar or some material that just won't break or anything, you just have that one body, and we don't get any extra men, no extra lives, you know. So you need to protect that, or not. But that's all I got for now. Ride safe, have fun, you know. I intend to do so. I probably keep doing these videos and stuff like that, you know, keep my feet wet. But you know, I just enjoy riding. I'm a chill rider myself, so you know, I'm looking at scenery and everything else. But thank you for watching this video, and I'll vibe with you in another one.